Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Welcome to this special edition of 15 Minutes in WACSI. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Stigmata Tenga, and I'm now an executive director for the Africa Philanthropy Network. The Africa Philanthropy Network now, the headquarters for the Africa Philanthropy Network are located in Tanzania, in East Africa currently.
Great. So, African Philanthropy Network, what is the network all about?
Wow. First of all, this network is a continent-wide network with the organization members and individuals from the continent and its diaspora. And it was launched, and in fact it was launched here in Ghana in July 2009 with a selected group of leaders from the grant-making organization on the continent who really wanted to interrogate and find out how resource mobilization in the continent, how resource utilization and distribution is benefiting people in the continent. So it continued to become bigger, to mobilize members from across the continent. Africa Philanthropy Network today has more than 78 member organizations and individuals who are coming from about 26 countries out of 55 countries on the continent. But together they work with and for the communities in 48 countries in the continent.
Oh, great. That's really good to know. And it's very good to know that this network was launched in Ghana, the heartbeat of West Africa, as I can put it. Now, how can civil society organizations in West Africa, in Ghana, how can they get involved and what role can they play towards the success of the network?
Oh, thank you very much. To start with, I should say the founding members of this network, some of them are coming here from Ghana. Africa Women Development Fund, which is located here in Ghana, and it was launched here in Ghana, is one of the organizations which really made a lot of effort to see that this platform has been launched, together with Trust Africa, which is in Senegal, so again, West Africa, and the Kenya Community Development Foundation in Kenya. And together with other 6 organizations coming from different parts of the continent, they sat and they agreed that things, we should look at doing things differently. So when you ask me about what should civil society organizations do, these who have launched this platform are also civil society organizations, and they have seen the need to balance the power that comes with the relationship, which are so important for us in bringing development to the continent, between the south, where we are, and the northern partners. So when directly to say what civil society should do, I think they should do their job. They should really do their job. And for me, civil society is one of the very powerful pillars of development. And I cannot differentiate civil society with the government and the private sector. We can follow like the Gramsci principle, power triangle, which says there are 3 power in that triangle, and one of it is civil society. But then to exercise that power is what civil society need to do.
And about what civil society needs to do, yes, they need to do their job. And looking at the philanthropic landscape on the continent, what are those nitty-gritties within the work of the civil society space that civil society should be doing, as you say, that will make everyone, every observer or actor on the continent to know that civil society is doing their job? What should they really?
Really, I should praise the sector, because already civil society is doing quite a lot. There is a lot of resources, different kind of resources, from the financial resources, human resources, natural resources, other resources which are in kind that we are not able to measure, but we are looking to measure, which is really being mobilized by the civil society. But civil society is also putting together the voices of the people from the community and bringing them through different forums to the governments who are, and policymakers, the parliament. So for me, I think civil society should continue to do their job, but they should do their job in a manner that they are a true representative of people they serve, and they are true representative of the community that they serve, and they're very authentic to what they're doing. Civil society sector is to date benefiting financially from the northern funders, and that is again questioning their legitimacy. But for me, I don't think that should question the legitimacy if at all civil society will utilize those resources for the benefit of the community. So to start with, let's put the community first. And why am I saying let's put the community first? Because what we are talking about at the platform, Africa Philanthropy Network, is to reclaim the power that is in various practices of giving in the continent. And those power are within the hands of people. So working with communities, working with people, realizing the asset, realizing the capacity, realizing the resources that is in the community, in ensuring that the community is using it to respond to their own issues of urgency. That will be one of the very important things that the civil society should do. But also another thing is to become accountable to the communities that we are serving, to become more accountable even. I know most of civil societies are very much accountable today, but let's become more accountable even to those communities we are serving. Now we have different structures that are pushing us to becoming more accountable to the government, to the policymakers, or maybe to our donors who are giving us funding. That's fine. There is always vertical accountability, but for me, I think horizontal accountability is key for us to unlock the potential of resources that is in the community, and to support us, to help us put the communities in the driver's seat for their own development. And that to me is philanthropy, because at the African Philanthropy we equate development agency and the African philanthropy.
The African Philanthropy Network is supporting this assessment of the legal environment of philanthropy in Ghana, and that is why you are here in Accra. Can you tell us why, this assessment is important to the philanthropic landscape in the country, and why your network is interested in the process?
Oh, thank you. So the network is doing a number of programs and having different areas of focus. So one of the areas of focus is supporting the creation of an enabling environment for community philanthropy to thrive. And for the community philanthropy to thrive, we have noted that there are so many hurdles that are coming or affected by the existing laws or bylaws and some of the policies. And not all civil society organization knows about them. So we feel that having this study taking place in Ghana, and we wish to take the place to make them take place in all countries on the continent, it will reveal what are the priority areas and what are the gaps in our existing legal framework, which is also hindering the philanthropy to thrive, but which are also positive areas in our legislation which supports philanthropy. And with that understanding, we can disseminate that information to our civil society practitioners and make it be utilized to become more aware of what is around us. And once you're aware, I still believe information is power somehow. So once you're aware of what is surrounding you, implications and positive and negative implications of the existing legal environment in a way you operate, you can structure and program yourself better. You can have better governance structures to help you. You may create better support. You may choose to find different ways of, activities of focus so that you either bypass or you become supportive. But another thing for me, civil society organizations are a bridge between people, communities, and the policymakers and government. So if we are a bridge, that bridge should bring information from one side to the people, but it should also take voice of the people to the policymakers and the government. And this information will help us to do that. We have policymakers who are doing the policy. We have the government which is supporting policymakers and advising them to draft the policy. But we need to have the voice of the people in those policies and bills to make those bills effective for the people. So that is why we are here. But also we have seen the mushrooming of different kind of bills which implicate the work of civil society. So one, we don't know about them, but second, they really implicate negatively our work. So we believe that having the information available for everyone will be able even to tell the government that, you know what, this law you think is good because it might generate some sort of revenue for you, but in the final analysis it's making you not hearing what the people you are serving do. Because you really need to develop policies and laws that are helping the people, and they're helping to the development of the people. So that is the belief. And I know we are supposed to take government into account, but we don't have kind of data that will help us to sit together at the table with the government, or even to pull together a group of private sector and say, you know what, these are the issues that concern both of us. Why don't we put this together and go and, you know, have dialogue with the government so that there will be some changes in the way government look at us. We have seen a lot of complaints that civil society, civil society are blamed not to bring any impact, but spending a lot of money or being utilized to clean the money that is coming from the wrong, sources. It could be true, but I don't think civil society will do that deliberately. So for one, such studies help us to know what does those laws or bills require us to do. But second, they will open up an understanding for us to be able to argue and tell the government that, you know what you think of the civil society is not what civil society is doing. But now we don't have the basis for us to build up any argument. And also there are so many other gaps in existing policies and laws. We cannot talk about those gaps. We cannot develop even white paper to change the policies or influence the changes in the policy if we don't have data in place to inform those changes. And this is why I think, much as we want to influence the legal environment for philanthropy to thrive, and especially local philanthropy, grassroots philanthropy in the continent, that information which is being generated from this study will help us also to build the case for philanthropy to thrive. It will help us to tell the policymakers and the government what is the impact of civil society and the philanthropic sector in the government budgets. And we'll even be able to tell them where should they look for. For example, when I was listening to the conversation earlier, we were talking about what is the impact. We cannot show impact. And sitting at the civil society, because we don't have data, we agree that we cannot show the impact. But the truth is, that is not our business. Our business is to represent the voice of the people. People see that we are helping them to transform. There are many communities from our stories, if you read stories from the civil society, that have transformed from one place, from one stage to another. Their life has been transformed completely to the better. But the government will still say we don't see the impact of us. So to measure that impact, it's something that we'll try to do to the level best, but it's a function of the government. The authorities that are responsible for registration of civil society, they're also responsible to enforce the guidelines under that registration. And one of the guidelines is vanish us with your annual audited account and annual narrative account. So if they have annual audited account, for example, 5,000 civil society organizations in the country, why should it be difficult for them to tell how much do these civil society organizations bring in the country? So that is their task. But we are telling them that we are ready. We have the information. We have professionals who can help them to go back into their books and say where the impact is, because we're demonstrating it.
Thank you very much for that very enlightening insights on the work you're doing and why you are here in Accra. And I hope civil society organizations in Ghana and in West Africa will definitely contact you, get in touch with the network to see how they can collaborate or join the movement to boost philanthropy in Africa. Thank you once again for talking to the communications team of WACSI, and we look forward to having you on the platform in the very near future.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.